Welcome to A Certain Point Askew, the only Star Wars podcast that's willing to make Solo 3 happen. I am Jason the Angry Jedi Guy, broadcasting live from inside Wookiee Poo Studios. I'm not alone though, so please allow me to introduce your favorite wretched scum, scoundrels, and smugglers. First up is my neighbor from Corellia, neighbor Cole.
Hello, everyone.
And I guess next up is Darth Matthews, or just Matt, as his lady friend calls him.
I don't want to disappoint, but I don't have a voice again this week. I felt like there wasn't anything really to pull from. There was one in particular, but I don't think I can match that voice, and we'll get into that shortly.
Yeah, that's one I thought you were going to pull. You're talking about the stinger at the end?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I tried last night at like 1 a.m. after I watched the episode. I'm like, can I pull that off?
I think you need to put the match in your mouth, or you need like a.
That's what I need.
You need something.
Do you have your shirt on or off in front of the mirror when you're doing these impressions? And are you holding Dave's
like Robert De Niro?
I will leave that up to the listeners to envision. They can decide what they thought I looked like.
We need Matt to have like his own TikTok channel, just when he does his impressions in front of the mirror for Star Wars impersonations.
Here's what we'll do. We'll have a listener poll, and if they want to see Matt with maybe Dave's pink robe on, or maybe, shirtless in front of the mirror doing impersonations, he'll happily oblige that, right, Matt?
Sure, I'll get right on that. Maybe I need to do like a live stream where people just throw out a character and then I'll just do it right away.
I want to see it where he's got Matt's pink robe on, but then as he's doing it, he fumbles and the phone falls like Blair Witch style, and you just see Matt in the corner of his room. Or I mean, Dave in the corner of his room watching him. And we're all like, how'd the rope get there? Oh.
But
Shut up,
Dave
Dave
is in a pair of just white stained boxer shorts, and he's sitting there like the guy from Tiger King, no shirt on, with a glass of fucking whiskey. Yeah, I like that. He's got his finger in his belly button. Get in there nice and deep.
Oh, gross.
This is a Star Wars podcast, and among the many things you're going to hear us talk about, it will be Star Wars. But I guess I'll let you tell everyone where they can reach us before I tell everyone what the show is today. Sure.
Yeah, you can find us at FromACertainPointAskew.com. We're on Twitter at FACPAPod, and you can email the show, and we appreciate when you do, FACPAPod@gmail.com. As far as our personal Twitter handles, you can find me at ReasonsR.
Find me, the Angry Ginger, or who wrote that? I never wrote that. Did I? Jason the Ginger Jedi Guy? That's a mouthful right there.
I don't know. I didn't put that in there.
Okay, well, someone's playing games on me. You can find me also over at S7EVN Days of Geek, which goes to the 7 Days of Geek podcast, which is another one that Cole and I do.
And you can also find me at Neighbor Cole. That's NEIGHBOR Cole. And I will respond any and all tweets.
You're everyone's neighbor, whether it's just mine or the galaxy's.
The galaxy's neighbor, yeah. I'm like a central hub.
So what's on the show today? We're going to give you a giveaway reminder. We've got some news, and in that news, we've got casting, production, and story rumors for Boba Fett, casting rumors for Andor, and a couple of quick bits on Kenobi, Ashoka, and Kevin Feige. There's actually finally a little bit of chit-chat about Marvel's main man in his Star Wars movie. And I guess we're going to talk a little bit of Visions, too. And the bulk, the meat and the potatoes, is Bad Batch episodes 7 and 8. And then we have a question of the week that Matt threw in there.
Yep.
Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
Okay. I was looking for more back and forth.
It's rumors about the Bad Batch coming, rumored titles that leaked. So when we get to that point, I'll warn people so that if they don't want to hear them for any reason, they can turn it off.
Our guy in Lucasfilm hooked us up.
That's right.
This is our rumored.
We've got a guy
dump.
inside.
We sure do.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And if you are on Twitter, you have a guy too.
We got one email in the mailbag, so you listeners are dropping the ball. So next week we're going to need 5. We're going to need every listener. So there's more than 5 if we go with every listener. Good 7 or 8.
At least.
Send a damn email. Let us know. We're halfway through the Bad Batch season. Let us know if this show is like, twigging your nipples, something. Is it making you excited? I'm finally I'm all in, man.
This last email, very contentious, very controversial. You may hear a little bit of Neighbor Cole road rage.
A little salty.
A little salty over here.
Little hyperspace rage.
A little pissed.
Okay. That's a little tease right there.
Star Killer Base, I'm coming for you.
All right. Give us the info on the giveaway. How are we doing on that bad
Yeah,
boy?
So people, I'm still tracking all the entries that people are doing. And so, yeah, if you send us email, you get some entries. So here's how it works. If you do a quote tweet of one of our episode posts on Twitter, then you get an entry. Also, if you do a Mailbag email, and then you get 2 entries if you do a review on any podcast app of your choice. And we didn't get any this week, but please go out and do a review of the show. It really helps us. And the prizes are second and third place will get a some sort of podcast merch of your choice. We do have a store, but first place gets the mall hilt that Dave Darth Flamingus
Yes.
put out for us on the show. It's pretty cool looking. There's a picture of it on our website. If you go to FromACertainPointOfSkew.com, there's a little post out there that talks about the contest.
How is this not getting more listeners? Like we're sharing this image at least a week, right? Like people have seen this. This thing is beautiful. And for starters, like you're gonna win it just for listening to a silly podcast about something you're already entertained by.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, with 60% knowledge, you're learning something from us.
Maybe our marketing's wrong. Maybe I should take that out into the streets and start bludgeoning people with it while you record.
Like bum fights?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
Okay.
Bum fights.
Okay with that.
You have a T-shirt on that says "Fact on the back, and on the front it just says "at Neighbor Cole."
It says, "We'll fight you for our listeners."
There you go.
Please subscribe, and then I'll deathmatch you, and we'll see who
That's
what
what you do.
happens.
If they're wearing our merch, you won't beat them.
Okay.
I could probably do a better job of reminding people what it looks like by tweeting that out. So I'll do that more. Maybe get more some more eyes
I'll
on that.
send the hilt to you, and when you're doing your shirtless TikTok videos, you can just kind of like slowly rub it down your abs.
Yep, I
Yeah.
like it. I
Yeah,
can
get
scream
sensual.
Kenobi. I got a good Kenobi yell going. That'll
All
work
right.
with
You could
that.
use it like a roller. You just roll it down your body a bit, like maybe a
that's a good
foam
idea.
roller.
It's like an
type
ab
of
workout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Put a little wheel under it, and it's like that one thing you roll out.
There
and
you go.
Strengthens your core. I hear it strengthens your core.
Many uses for the mall hilt.
That's right.
Just some slight modifications. Some Tonka truck wheels.
So news. Let's get into
Oh,
the news.
Okay.
First up is there's a lot of stuff going around with Book of Boba right now, and it makes sense since it's the next show coming. But they wrapped up filming, which they were doing for 5 months.
Man.
So the thought is, like at one point they thought, oh, they're only going to be like 4 episodes. I would think it's going to be at least 6 and maybe 8, given how long they filmed this sucker.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Well, yeah, yes, exactly. I would go with 8. I think a full season. Like, why go 6? And with 5 months, and they're standard single locations. I mean,
Yes.
almost all of it's either their little back lot outside, or it's the volume. So they've already shown how much stuff they can film and get done daily. So there's got to be multiple episodes.
I would hope so. And something I'll talk about here in just a second, it would make sense for it to be longer as well. But Tamura Morrison revealed some bits in a recent interview where he said, and this is a huge story for Cole. They're getting the band back together.
Mm-hmm.
Did you keep this hidden from me?
I hope
On
they.
purpose?
I hope they do the. Like when the Mandalorian opens up, it's that awesome music. I hope it's the Jizz Whalers, right? Is that no? They're the. What are they?
Oh, it was something with stormtroopers. Or Boba Fett and the shit. I can't remember now.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I hope they do the theme song, just
Yeah.
to get your blood boiled right from the beginning.
The Stormtroopers? Is that what it was?
It might have been the
Boba Fett,
Stormtroopers. Yeah, I think that's right.
That's what it was. Yeah. So yeah, what the news is that Robert Rodriguez is directing some episodes, which I was like, well, yeah. I kind of thought he was way more involved in he's an executive producer of the show,
Correct.
but I thought he was like, I was expecting he had more of a Deborah Chow role with Kenobi, like on this, but apparently there's some other directors they're bringing in. He's just doing a couple of the episodes, I guess.
Well, that kind of sounds like maybe there are more episodes because originally wasn't Kenobi supposed to be like 4 or 6 episodes? Maybe
I think Kenobi's supposed to be 6. I think that's still the
maybe
case.
we'll learn because they went back to scripting on that. Remember they held the series off for a while and
True.
it grew. So maybe we'll learn they've got like a sub director in on those too, because there's only so much a director can do, right?
Right. More episodes is good for me.
Exactly.
Please do more.
Wonder how big. Do you think Fennec Shan's role is going to be big, or no?
In Mando or the Book of Boba Fett?
The Book of Boba Fett. Yeah. I wonder. I'm wondering if they're just going to be like a 1-2 punch, a duo. She's humping him. She's going to be there with him the whole time.
Well, I think you're going to see 2 things. Well, because in some of the information he talks about, he says you go back and see,
Right.
what he's been up to. So we're going to see the flashbacks. What we've talked about, we've speculated, which makes a lot of sense. So I don't know if he knew Fennec beforehand. I think we get an idea that they didn't know each other well, no, we really don't know because they just show up on the rocks together on the whatever fucking planet escapes me right now. So maybe they did. Maybe we'll see that. But well, yeah, they're going to see. I think you're going to see whatever's going on in Jabba the Hutt's fucking lair that he took over moving forward, as well as, whatever the backstories are. That'll probably tie into pushing the story forward as well.
I can't wait to hear and find out about what happened to him after Jedi, right? Like after he fell into the Sarlacc pit.
Right.
That's my biggest looking forward to.
Do you think they'll open up with that? Or that'll be like the last episode of the series. Well, they'll finally show you.
Probably be the last episode.
Stop holding back.
I think they'll mix it in somewhere in the middle, but he said going back to Empire Strikes Back. So it made me think, well, right now in some of those comics, like we talked about last time, they're exploring like kind of what happens to Han Solo when he's in Carbonite. So perhaps they're going to show some of that in live action as far as what happened to Boba trying to get Han to Jabba and it going off the rails.
Wouldn't that be awesome if Han showed up and like no one's expecting that?
Well, it would be like a Luke moment from Mandalorian. It would
Yeah.
be like, what? I mean, that'd be fucking freaky.
We know I won't be expecting it.
You know, the paparazzi aren't fucking hanging out of Alden's residence, so he can go in and out of the studio, shoot whatever he wants to, and go home. No one's paying attention.
He's
Good
not a big
point.
star.
Yeah.
He's not.
No, he had a show on when Peacock first launched. He had New Order. Was that the name of the show? Him and Demi Moore and someone else I think were in it. It was based on a sci-fi series from like the 80s or 90s, a series of books, but it didn't get picked back up. And I haven't seen him in anything else. So I don't know how much of a working actor he is. What I'm saying is he's got time to go play Han Solo.
Maybe
That's
he's
true.
doing the whole Yoda thing after Attack of the Clone, or after Episode 3. He's going into exile on Tatooine
Okay, fair enough.
or on Dagobah. Sorry.
Well, the other thing they were kind of talking about with the Book of Boba is essentially there was a video out there that when Ewan McGregor and Pedro Pascal were like basically having like an interview with each other, talking to each other for variety.
Yeah, it was the actors on actors. Yeah.
Yes, and so they were talking about a bunch of stuff, a lot of how cool it is to be on Star Wars projects and blah blah blah. And in it, at one point, he says, and they're trying not to reveal anything,
Right.
and he says something to Pascal about Mando, and he's like, "We haven't started filming season 3," and everybody's like, "What?" So that kind of threw everybody off, and I think at first people were like, "Oh, that's bullshit. He's just making that up," and then it kind of came out that more so that they're saying Book of Boba is almost kind of meant to be Mando season 2.5, like it's supposed to be like the stopgap between season 2 and 3. So I think what that potentially means is you might see some Mando cameos, but that we're not going to see season 3 for a while. Like they're talking about how they're not going to film it until maybe later this year or the beginning of next year, which means we probably won't see it till the end of 22 at the earliest.
Right. Yep.
That's kind of sucks, but at the same time, they have so many other things coming out. I don't think it'll feel as awful that it's pushed out that far, especially if you get a little taste of it from Book of Boba.
Yeah, and if they do like if they're giving us a gap in time, if they're spreading out a little bit, it'll make a little sense. Like as a viewer, oh, we haven't seen this in a while, and they can move time forward. We can see like those little flashes in that show as well. That does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, they gotta be careful not to oversaturate too. Like, because even the most diehard Star Wars fans, like, let me digest what I just kind of saw a little bit.
You need to bite your tongue. There's so much coming out right now. We don't need to talk about oversaturation.
Do they know the schedule of our show? Because that's a big factor.
I don't think they consulted us on this, and
I
they
know.
should. Guys, we need to know. I got a whole schedule. I got us booked out for the next 3 years.
You
as
sure
guys
do.
know.
Yeah.
I gotta,
I gotta plan my vacations around it.
I'll email Dave. I'll email Dave Filoni. Talk to him again.
All right.
Get him on it.
Well, and I mean, a couple of factors too. There might be also that Pedro is working on that. What is it, Last of Us for HBO? So that might be getting in his way.
Yeah.
Also, they're filming so many things. They only have one volume, or essentially two. Do they have two now? Is the second one up and running? I can't remember. I know they're building more.
I think there's 2. They're gonna have
The one in London
They're gonna
and
have
then the
2
one-
in California. They're gonna have 1 in London and 1 in Australia. Because when we
Right.
did the news a few months back, I think that was there were gonna be 4 of them, but they're not all up and running yet.
So when you think about it, Book of Boba was using the volume, and now Kenobi's filming. So when would they have filmed Mando season 3? You know what I mean? So it makes sense
Right.
that all these things are stacking up. They don't really have room to film it at this point, and he's got other stuff going on.
'Cause
So
Ando
it makes
is,
sense.
Ando is shooting at the Volume in Pinewood Studios, right? They're in London,
Andor?
I think, right?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Well, I mean, they've mentioned stuff about different sets are all around kind of the UK and stuff.
Yeah.
But yes, that's kind of the primary location from what I understand. So that's kind of it for Book of Boba. But there's a lot going on there. It since they've wrapped, it makes you think, okay, then does that mean early fall? We'll see maybe some sort of teaser or something like that, just to get us a little taste.
The last 2 years for Mando, it's been October, right? There's been an October teaser,
right.
and then later on the trailer, a couple weeks later after some posters. So they'll probably go with that. I mean, it works, other than they're changing their releases from Friday to Wednesday, and then I think they're still on for a December release.
Yes, yeah, they're changing the release to Wednesdays, which means, what are we gonna do, guys?
Star Wars Hump Day.
I guess we'll just have to fucking suck it up, boys.
I will record every Wednesday night. I can do that.
Okay, well, we'll figure it out. But that there's just a warning to our listeners. We might change our recording and release schedule based on when that stuff starts coming out. But we got a while before that happens.
Matt will fill your calendars in for you.
Yeah, I will. If anybody would like help scheduling their life, I'm happy to step in. Google Calendar, Google Sheets, whatever.
Actually, I could use that. I mean, all jokes aside, I've got 5 kids.
Cole, you got a
in
phone
my head,
repair?
oh yeah, I can do that, and then all of a sudden, nope, I can't.
Cole, you got your STD screening test at noon today. Don't forget. No email.
We can reschedule, but we've already done it twice now.
You're gonna make a good wife, Matt.
We got to figure out what that thing is, bro. Come on. Stop putting it off.
Some other stuff. Andor, just a couple things to mention. They added Robert Ems from the Chernobyl show to the cast. Have you watched that show, Chernobyl?
Oh, yeah.
Cole finished it. I watched, I think, the first 2 episodes. The first one I watched while working at the nuclear power plant, and that was maybe
too
one of the
close
most
to home.
frightening things I've ever experienced.
What's his name? What's his name? Robert what?
Robert Ems.
EMS?
EMMS.
Okay, there he is.
Yeah, I don't know what character he is or whatever, but I was just curious if you were how familiar you were with him and the show in general. But I've heard it's a great show.
It is
spectacular.
fucking amazing. Who's the main guy? It's not Liam Nielsen. The guy that looks like him. He's one of the Skarsgårds, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the one that records the tape, right? Isn't that the Skarsgård?
He's the main guy from the Russian government.
Is it Stellan Skarsgård?
Yeah,
The older guy?
Is it
Yeah, it's the old one. It's the guy from the first Marvel shit that you love.
Yes. He's in Thor. He's the professor in Thor.
That's funny then, because Stellan Skarsgård is in Andor also.
Yeah.
So
really?
there you go.
Wow.
And speaking of Stellan Skarsgård, he was doing a Swedish interview.
I feel like it was Jared Harris, though. I'm looking it up. Go ahead.
Okay. He was doing an interview with some Swedish media, and somebody translated that through, and basically he was saying how he has scenes with Forrest Whitaker. So he was confirming, that Saw Gerrera will be in Andor, which I think we all thought was quite possible, but he kind of was confirming it. He said he had some scenes with him, and he said he mostly had scenes with Cassian. So we'll see what that means, because we don't really know what his character is going to be yet. Stellan Skarsgård.
Correct.
Big fan of his, though, so I'm excited that he's in that show. And then also there's rumors again about Krennic, just more rumors that he's going to be in the show. I can't imagine he's not. They haven't confirmed anything, but I would imagine he is, and I'm here for it. I really liked his character.
Do you think they're going to tie in a little bit of Vader?
I mean, it makes you think there's going to be at least a tease of it, don't you?
Yeah. I think
be.
when they're going back to some of these, like, why not? As awesome as he was, and I mean, look, it worked out pretty good for them in Rogue One.
Yeah, I mean, that was anything and everything that everyone was talking about.
Fucking
when
amazing.
they said, oh my God, Vader gets a cameo. It's crazy. I always wondered, like, I think I've talked about this before, how my kids will, if they ever put together the timeline, well, they're my kids, so they probably won't. But if, like, you see Vader and, like, the fight between him and Obi-Wan in A New Hope, which is the first one, and then it's the one, like, 3, like, all the CGI awesome lightsaber battles in 1, 2, and 3, they're like, what the hell happened here? Like, if they watch these in actual order, not, like, production order, it's going to be crazy.
Well, we've talked about it before when somebody reworked the fight between Kenobi and Darth, and it looks badass.
It's fucking amazing.
If only. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just going to insert that in my Disney Plus.
What are you going to insert in your Disney Plus?
We'll talk about that off air.
I use that Disney Plus, so be careful.
We talked about STD tests.
I was going to say, I got an STD test coming up.
Maybe I should be careful then.
You might want to wear a condom if you're going to insert anything.
It burns when I pee.
I'm waiting for Disney to give us a cease and desist. You guys cannot do a Star Wars podcast.
Liam Neeson was on Jimmy Kimmel and was asked kind of about, the whole Kenobi series coming up. And he's like, oh, no, I wasn't approached about it. And I was like, so
Bullshit.
you may have a particular set of skills, but lying is not one of them, Liam, because that's bullshit. First of all, at a minimum, it was discussed with him. There's no way. But I would imagine Qui-Gon's going to show up in Kenobi at some point, even, some sort of Force ghost or something. There's no way they wouldn't do that.
Right. I mean, is it essential to the story? I don't know, but it wouldn't take much for them to get Liam into a room somewhere and shoot. I mean, he's going to be a hologram, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, a couple hours in makeup, throw him in front of a camera. He could fucking do it at his house if he wanted to.
I mean, literally, it was set up that way in Revenge of the Sith by Yoda talking about how you're going to talk to your old friend, essentially. I found a way to do that. So, and he's like, really? So why would they not use that in the show? Of course they're going to do it.
What did he say in your meditations on Tatooine training?
Something
I had
about an
for
old
you, right?
friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, something about an old friend. And he says Qui-Gon, doesn't
Yep.
he, in the movie? Yeah, so.
And then he lights
Anyway.
up. Yeah, Ewan McGregor lights up. Oh.
Hello
right
there.
Hello there.
Hello there. A little quick note on Ahsoka. There were some rumors that came out.
You said that wrong.
I can't remember. By the way, whenever I type Ahsoka into like my phone or something, it tries to change it to Ashoka. So, to your credit.
Yes.
But there was this rumor that was thrown out there by, what was it, the Illuminati site or something? Anyway,
Yeah.
it was saying that they think there was a casting call going out for Barriss Ophi, who is the gal who's framed Ahsoka. She was tight with Ahsoka. She was Luminara's Padawan. She was tight with Ahsoka in Clone Wars, and then she set her up to look like Ahsoka tried to bomb the Jedi Temple. And then she, fully came out and was like, I think the Jedi's in the wrong now. I think we've lost our way. And I think we're probably like kind of the evil guys now. And that's why she did it. So she was locked up. And I don't think her story was continued beyond that. And maybe in the book, but I don't know about that.
She had the headdress and the tattoos on the face,
Yep.
right? That one?
Mhm. Yeah.
She was the...
And given her impact on Ahsoka and the fact that she is basically responsible for Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, some people are saying, is it really her they're casting for? Is it more Sabine? I don't know. But I think you might see both of them.
She's got to have a foil, right?
Or at least somebody that's going to tie back to, I mean, one of the biggest moments in her life, her deciding I'm not coming back to the Order. Bye.
Right.
I think that would make sense for her to be in that series.
Right here, I'm predicting right now we're going to find out that she becomes Vader's. Yes.
Apprentice?
Padawan?
That's what I said.
Who?
Apprentice.
Barriss?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that theory.
So then she has to fight her.
What happened to her at the
masters.
end? I can't remember.
She just got jailed. She got thrown in jail.
Just put in the prison?
Yeah. I mean, she was like unapologetic about it. Like, this is why I did it. We fucking lost our way. This is why I did. You know what I mean? She
Yeah.
kind of came clean on it. So.
She wasn't full Sith. Like, she wasn't full dark side. She was just, like,
Correct.
didn't agree. She was like
She was just anti-Jedi. She
Yeah,
was
a
like,
rebel
we're-
amongst
this
the
is-
rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, you might want to share this one, Jay, because you shared it with us in the chat. It was the whole thing about the Vision Star Wars Vision.
It's just they announced. Oh shit! Did I get rid of the tab?
I think it's
had-
July 3rd, right? They're going to do
Yeah,
it.
July 3rd. I got rid of the tab. It's some anime expo thing, and they're gonna show a bunch of stuff, and it's really like they're all gonna be short stories. From directors and animation studios from, I don't know if it's just like Japan or around the world, but to me, it sounds like it's going to be something like Death, Love, and Robots that's on Netflix right now, but like in the world of Star Wars or even like the Animatrix, So you're just going to see different types of animation, short stories involving different characters or characters maybe we're familiar with. There really isn't a lot on this, but I know you're not too excited, but I've been taking in some of the. I wasn't a big fan of the Animatrix. There was a couple of them that I thought were fantastic, but for the most part, I was like, eh. But the Death, Love, and Robots on Netflix is pretty fucking amazing. I know it scares you to death. Like you won't even watch the first episode of season 2 because it's about that robot attack. But
The number of times people have told me to watch Black Mirror episodes, I'm like, I don't know. It's important to know your adversary, so I guess I should watch that
sure,
stuff.
yeah. That way you're preparing the right way.
I think I want to see what it's going to look like. I tend to not be a huge anime person in general. I don't know what it is about that style and that visual style that doesn't quite grab me. Like more so when I was a kid, not so much now. But I'm interested to see what characters they talk about because they could like you said, they very well could be including people who we're quite familiar with and telling like offshoot stories of theirs. So that would be cool.
They better not have Droids Go to a Day Spa episode.
So this is going to be an anime type of a series, you were saying?
Yeah, but it doesn't say hand-drawn or digital or what. My guess is it's going to be a little bit of both.
This is something Emma would probably love.
Yeah, she would.
She gets into
Yeah.
that anime stuff.
And like we discussed on 7 Days of Geek, the newest episode that's up, the Masters of the Universe Revelations. That was an anime style. It was an anime studio that's doing that, and I think that looks gorgeous.
So what was the Clone Wars considered? Just
Animation.
animation?
Yeah.
What isn't anime short for animation?
It's the Japanese version of animation. It's how they do their animation. It's usually a little bit more adult. Their expressions, the actions.
Resistance is more anime style. Or back in the day, like I used to watch a show back in the day a lot as a kid called Robotech. That was more anime style.
Yes.
So that it's just a little bit different. And I don't know. I mean, I'm open to whatever because it's new content and I'm here for it. And
Yeah.
so but I just was a little hesitant. I wasn't one of the most the series coming that I was the most excited about.
don't know, I might change your mind when we get into the 7 and 8 when I start talking about the animation style. Like,
Okay.
there's some crazy shit that we might be seeing.
Well, last bit is just a note about the Kevin Feige rumored Star Wars film. And that is that Michael Waldron, who is the writer for Loki, and I think is he doing the new Doctor Strange movie as well, right?
Yeah, he's the screenwriter on there. He was brought in when Sam Raimi took over. They retooled the whole script. It was Scott Derrickson and I forget the screenwriter's name. Massa Worm is his name that was on Ain't It Cool News. But when Raimi came in, they retooled the whole thing, rewrote, I think, a page 1 rewrite. This guy, Michael Waldron's from Rick and Morty. He was a writer from the get-go. I don't think he's working on the show anymore, but I mean, he's very prominent in like time travel and all that shit. So he made a lot of sense for Loki, and it's some mind-bending shit. And I'm kind of wondering if that's the type of writer he is. Like, what are we going to get for Star Wars? Like, maybe there is going to be a little bit of time travel.
Oh, don't do it.
Yeah, that's a dangerous place. That like we'll get into when we review Rebels again, is that world between worlds stuff. That it starts to mess with a lot of things when you do that. But I'm interested to see. I'm glad that they've essentially said he's the writer on that show, and then they've kind of got a plan, because that just means that gears are turning.
Right.
Because by the time we get Rogue Squadron, it'll have been 4 years between movies. That's just a long ass time.
Yeah, and we've heard no movement on that. It was all before Wonder Woman 1984, and then now there's been nothing.
I think the only thing was, didn't they say something about maybe the visual something or other who worked on Wonder Woman was going to be working on Rogue Squadron?
Correct.
I think there was just like some little tidbit of information, but that's it. That's all we got. So anyway, let's get to the Bad Batch, yeah?
That's what we're here for, Matt.
Fucking shit is picking up.
Woo.
Yes, it is.
I am so excited. We're at the halfway point as we get through these next two episodes of the season. So it makes sense that they wanted to kind of give us a jolt. And I understand, just really quickly before we get into the episodes, I understand, we talked about how they needed to show them kind of figuring things out, trying to figure out what to do next, survival, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think now we're like, okay, we've settled in. Let's start moving forward.
Yeah, I think so. Like, they've got a home base now. They're dealing with Carla from Cheers all the time. They've got a couple of missions. They've done the mission of the week or whatever, and they're still trying to figure out like where they fit into the world. And I even like the line, I think it was in episode 8, where he's like, we are soldiers. Was it? It wasn't Echo. Was it Echo that says it to Hunter? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like, we kind of have to. I think he at least seems to be leaning like, maybe we need to go fight with Rex and whatever's left of the rebellion.
Yep, exactly.
The first thought, like as soon as I started watching episode 7, I just sat down and I was watching it, and like I thought I missed something right off the bat, because they had like a whole new mission, but they were doing the thing like, oh, this is a mission of the week type of a thing.
Yeah, they were just coming back from it.
And then Sid comes out as like this extortionist. Oh, you guys have docking fees and this and this and this, and you failed that one mission and all this other stuff. And they're like, well, you said that our cut was going to be a lot bigger. And she's like, well, I don't care.
I said my cut was going to be 3 times.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So she's kind of being a little bit of a pain in the ass.
I think Wrecker's going to pick her up and treat her like Batman and Bane, just snap her back in the back of the bar and leave her there.
I just don't understand why these guys just like bow to the will of this little...
I think because they're lost in this type of world and they don't know how to. I mean, they definitely need money. They need a place to live.
She's almost their lifeline.
They're on the hunt.
Now.
Yeah,
she's their lifeline out. She's
and
getting
you know what?
jobs.
Maybe they got mommy issues.
That could be.
Mm-hmm. They all seem to be like suckling on the teat of that green lizard lady.
They never
There's
had
your
a mom.
episode title.
Yeah, it could be. You jump into it with this. I like the way they jumped into it, where they're being attacked by these people and they're bringing home some fucking lizard. But the fact that you get this idea that, oh, okay, we've done quite a number of missions now, because Wrecker and Omega have this like tradition where they go get that weird popcorn candy shit after each mission. But then, of course, all of a sudden we look over and there's fucking Strider from Lord of the Rings sitting over there with his, hood on.
It really is, yes.
Oh, God, it was exactly that. That's the first thing I thought when I saw that. I was
got
like,
his Ranger cloak on.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. That's good.
And then I love it because the Ithorian goes over there and is like, you're in my fucking seat, get the fuck out. He's like, I don't think I want to mess with that. And he's gone. So it reveals that it's Rex, which we speculated last week how we thought, it could be Bail Organa, who the Martez sisters were talking about, and all these things. And we threw out Rex, but I didn't think it was going to be Rex. I thought it was going to be somebody else. And it was Rex.
Yep, it sure was. And it made the most sense.
It did.
So refresh my memory. What happened to Rex after? So he was, the last we saw him was at the end of Clone Wars with Ahsoka, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's helping Ahsoka essentially like do that graveyard of clones.
Yep.
And then he takes off. Like I think you're, and we find out later in this episode that he's assumed dead. They think that he's dead.
Well, Vader shows up, right? And it's in the winter.
Sometime later he shows up,
and
yeah.
sees her sabers that she dropped, or one of them at least, right? And then it never says what happened to Rex after that. So apparently he just went and joined the rebellion.
I'm guessing this is the beginning of what becomes Ahsoka being Fulcrum and the rebels and all that, yeah.
Yep. And so he discovers that they haven't removed their chips, and he gets a little nervous.
I like how he automatically protects her. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Like, there's very, like, there's a lot of hints, I'm telling you. And why does Wrecker go after her right away?
He doesn't. He goes after. He starts fighting the other three.
Well, he's fucking destroys them right away, and then he's like, he's gonna kill her.
Jedi. So because you think that she's a Jedi.
You can smell it on her.
Why would she be a Jedi though? That doesn't make sense.
There's something going on there. Although it's funny because when
force sensitive is what you're thinking.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, when I think about it too, I think about how the only real power she has demonstrated so far is that she has this kind of ability to read people.
Her intuition is just dead on.
It's dead on. And so when they're talking about the I forget their names now, the Kaminoan folks, when they're talking about how they want to get her back to form this new batch of clones, this new generation. So what is that? Is it going to be like the fucking Psychic Friends Network? Like what is the special gift of these clones going to be beyond just like, I can really read people. I can tell what you're thinking and I know what your motives are.
I mean, other than the fact of, so like, you know what someone's going to do before they can do it. Like you can maybe, if you're quick on your feet, anticipate or give a warning cry, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't seem like, it seems like a very like good skill to have almost, but.
You know, it's sort of a thing if I look into it, because I was guessing maybe, you know, because we know Palps at some point starts trying to clone himself or have things done. You know, he's always 900 steps ahead of everybody, but he wouldn't be so big on decommissioning all of their cloning stuff if he was involved in that. Would he?
Well, maybe not,
You know?
but to me it seems like it's not necessarily tied to Palps. It's more so the fact that the Kaminoans are just trying to figure out a way to stay relevant. And so
they're very true, yeah.
So if it's just the fact that they're saying we're going to enhance clones by saying, hey, we're still going to have these clones, but they're going to have this added like mental capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's all that next generation is. It's not necessarily full on force, but maybe just kind of having these extra mental abilities.
They're just going to actually be able to shoot a blaster without missing.
Exactly. Not those stormtroopers.
Yeah.
The upkeep on the Kaminoan housing market out there is just ridiculous. They got to keep their basements dry. They got these dry systems because they're on a water planet. So
Very true.
They've got a lot of
And
overhead.
also, man, do they have a clean place?
They do. They keep it clean.
They got a glossy floor, clean glass walls.
You could eat off those floors.
Mm-hmm.
They got a whole batch of defunct clones that they use as a mates.
That's right.
Hunchbacks.
Number 99?
Yeah, number 99.
So Rex tells them to meet on Braca, which, are you guys familiar with Braca?
I wasn't until I was doing a little reading, and I guess the video game opens up on that planet.
Yeah, so in Jedi Fallen Order, that's where you start, and it's basically a place where there's, as you see in the episode, where they're scrapping old Republic ships, and that's where we meet Cal Kestis, who's the protagonist of Jedi Fallen Order, and he's part of that Scrappers Guild. Kind of reluctantly, he's trying to lay low and not be found as a Jedi.
Okay.
And so they're on Braca when you start that game before the Inquisitors figure out who he is, and they start chasing after him, then he leaves the planet.
Okay.
That's just the beginning of the video game. I'm not giving away a 10 there. Just,
Sure. Okay. All right.
But it did make you think, oh, we're going to see like some young Cal Kestis, because he would have been young then. He would have been like 10 or 11 years old or something like that. But they obviously weren't going to show him.
Like, this is where all of a sudden you start picking up like how much the animation has changed and the scope. Like, there are some shots that are almost like film worthy, like the films. Like, I'm like, am I watching animation? Especially like the lighting is absolutely gorgeous in these two episodes. The scene where Wrecker is being held by that cable when he falls and he's over the water. That water looks like you're looking at real water. Like they've really upped the game. Like, you're seeing, I think what we were seeing in those last 4 episodes of Clone Wars. Now this is, to me, I'm seeing equal or better.
Yeah, I think the whole scene of them walking around that cruiser, whether
Yeah.
it's at first when they're just trying to figure out where stuff is and find the medical bay, and then later when they're being hunted,
Mm-hmm.
the visuals in that were amazing, especially with them walking around the flashlights trying to figure out everything. It
Right.
looked beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a question I have for you guys. Is that a Sarlacc pit underneath the water?
That's what I mean, it very much was that type of creature, right?
It's called a Dianoga. He actually says it. I think Tech says it or something.
Why can't you let us have any
It's
fun?
like a squid.
Why can't you let us have any fun? You got to blow our little theory of Munchie out of the water. He's not the Rancor.
Munchie. It's Moochie.
What is his name?
Munchie was his
Moochie.
brother.
Munchie sounds better.
Yeah.
We can never
Munchie
have any
hungry.
fun. Can I just think that it's a Sarlacc pit, like a
Well, actually,
waterlogged
according to
Sarlacc
my
pit?
database, the name of it is.
I think we figured out what...
I am the
yeah.
Tech of the show.
Yeah, you
No,
are.
you're tech. You're definitely tech.
Oh my God! When he answers her, when he's under there fixing
Yeah.
the front of the ship, and she's like, "No, I asked." He's like, "I did answer you." I laughed. I was like, "Oh my God, it's perfect."
Yeah, what was the war like? And he just gives this straight
This
details.
Analytical. Yeah. Well, it was a mission based on objectives of whatever. Well, no, I asked you what it was like, and I told you.
I just told you. All right,
Well,
now
what
what's
do you
this
want?
button? What's this button do?
So once they get past the Dianoga, sorry to ruin your fun.
Uh-huh.
Wrecker's having the headaches. They scan him. They find out he's got the chip. They're gonna remove it, and then he the chip switches on, and he starts saying, "You're in violation of Order 66," and he grabs Tech by the throat and
Yeah.
starts trying to kill them all, and basically knocks all the clones out. And then yes, Omega takes a little warning shot across the bow just to get him to not kill Hunter, I think at the time.
Yeah.
And then he goes after her, and she's kind of trying to hide from him, and then essentially he's just about to kill her, and she's trying to talk him out of it.
Yes.
And he's aware of it because he talks to her about it later. But yeah, then Rex comes in at the last second and stuns him, and and Omega is saved.
He was going Wrecker Ralph at that point.
Wow.
Ooh.
I would just like to point out that we were during our speculation was at the end of the episode last week. We were pretty dead on with what was going to happen with all of this. Wrecker was going to lose his shit just about the time they were going to take it out. We knew Crosshairs was returning. He was going to sort of be in the middle of both of them, fighting two fronts. Like, it all kind of came to a head. Although I think, were we guessing sooner than later, or that was where the series was going to wrap? But regardless, like, listeners, keep listening, because maybe we do know what we're talking
We
about.
pretty much know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. You're looking at me like you weren't here for that episode. You're like, did we predict that? I
was
remember
thinking-
none of this.
I don't know. I was blown. My mind was wandering. I'm sorry. Thank you for letting everyone know, though.
You were just glazed over. I didn't know.
I was thinking about sausage.
Okay.
I was gonna say Cole leaves it all on the pod, and then he's just done. He's
Yeah.
just exhausted, and it just all rushes out, and he's
You
done.
guys, I don't know. It's early onset dementia or something, because everyone will come up to me and be like, "Hey, remember when you said them?" No, I do not recall that. Like, I don't. I just fucking either when there's something in these headphones that Quad gave me. Like, maybe there's an inhibitor chip in these that just wipe me clean every time I leave here. But
Sabotage. He's trying to take your spot.
I mean,
I think it helps. Like with 7 Days a Geek, I edit, so I listen to it again. And then with this, there's times that I've forgotten what we've talked about, so I'll listen to the episode, and I'm, oh yeah, we did have these things to say.
Right.
I'm lost a lot of the time. So just so you guys know.
You're doing
Welcome.
a great job.
Yeah.
Thanks, fellas.
But I mentioned earlier that you get this touching moment with Omega and Wrecker, where Wrecker's apologizing because he knew what he was doing, but he couldn't stop himself.
Right.
And he was aware of it, but obviously it was just driven by the chip. And she's like, "I understand." It was probably like the most touching moment of the season so far. I thought was that little exchange with those two, because they've obviously become tight.
And then they shared some fun pop that she had been squirreling away.
Yeah.
They
They
did.
had a little fun
Well,
pop.
the dad batch, though, I'm still like on the fence with, like, you were led to believe, at least from the beginning, right? We thought like Hunter's the leader. Hunter seems to be like the guy that's protective of her and a father figure. But her and Wrecker Ralph here is it like a sibling? Like they're always together.
He's the cool uncle.
Yeah.
Okay,
Type of a thing,
all right.
right? I get that vibe. He's the cool
she's
uncle.
even like when we open up in the next episode, he's teaching her to disarm a fucking explosive.
Maybe not the best thing, but I guess considering the world they live in, probably you need those survival skills.
It was just a smoke bomb, you two.
Right.
Stop.
I love you so.
That's a pretty good
Cracks himself
record.
up. Yeah.
And then Rex messages somebody just at the very end of that episode saying, "I'll meet you at the rendezvous point." We're trying to, who's
Right.
that? Who is that?
Yeah, who's he answering to?
Could be Ahsoka, could be somebody else, whoever. We're not sure. But then Rex tells Hunter that like, hey, you guys would be pretty useful. And he's like, yeah, we're kind of figuring things out. We're still trying to protect Omega. We'll get back to you on that.
Do you think there was a lost, like there was no moment between Echo and Rex?
No, there wasn't, which is interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know if,
Considering.
like, are we going to get that? Are they still, because you think they would have at least give each other like that bro nod or like, hey, you know?
Yeah, like Echo saying, thanks for coming after me and fucking saving me. Yeah.
There was none of that. Like, I don't even think they even gave each other like, oh, you're the new guy. Like, it was nothing.
Put me back in. Thanks for saving me from the Matrix, but I'd like you to put me back.
Right, yeah.
It was like Chewbacca walking right by Leia after Han died. Come on.
No fist bump?
Right.
Nothing?
Yeah.
Like, come on, what the fuck?
But they give us a nice tease for the next episode because the Scrappers see Hunter and they're like, alert the Empire. And then that's how it ends. And then we get into, and you said it on DM, and I agree, probably the best episode of the series so far, and it is fucking a doozy. Finally, the Empire's back. So excited.
Yeah, there's something about when Crosshairs comes into it, like it just ups the ante. And even though like there was a little bit where we were seeing like there was the A story, B story, you know, so even when we weren't seeing the two of them clash, we at least saw what was going on that side of things. Now it's more of they just collide. So the whole episode is just their everything together. But still, I thought it worked. Like it was great with them being hunted. How big the ships were, them running through. I love the fact that like they knew how Crosshair was going to come in and sweep the ship. So like we'll just go every other corridor. Like they knew how to, but then Crosshair knew how they were going to do things. Yeah,
he knows.
It's super interesting how they knew each
so
other. Like
predictable.
That. Yep.
Yeah.
And also the Jedi or the Star Wars universe is giving the toothpick chew a bad name. Everyone's got the toothpick is a bad guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I think. Well, I don't want to get to it just yet, but I'm hoping we have like a toothpick tussle later on between Crosshair and our friend that we're going to meet here.
Yeah.
They kind of disarm or whatever, stun some of those Scrapper Guild people, and decide that basically they're going to try to strip the ship for everything they can to get some dough because they want to pay off Sid and be done, pay off that debt, and then I think move on. I think they're at a point now where they want to kind of move on.
I feel like they need to just come. Like this is they could just home base this place. Like they just keep refilling the ship on weapons. Like everything is there.
I think the Scrappers have pretty much plucked it clean, though.
Well, except for that ship, apparently.
Well, they got lucky, I think. They got lucky. They were saying, well, what? Because Tech jumps onto the ship's hard drive and is like, I think so. I forgot. At the end of the episode, I kind of got the impression that they left empty-handed, almost. But then I forget. Tech goes in and downloads the.
Yeah, I think there's something on. Yeah,
on
you're
the
right.
computer, like Intel or something.
Yep.
What is he getting? And then he has old Omega go over and take the hard drive or something. And she's like, "What's this button?"
Yep.
It's blinking.
Yeah, exactly. So that's when the Empire shows up. I love it because he's like, "Oh, it must be a malfunction," and these
fly over the
ships
window.
come in.
Yep.
What's that flashing? Someone slaps his hand.
Yeah.
Like Dustin Krupp's.
Oh, really quickly, there was like a quick little side shot of or scene of God, what are their freaking names? Lamasu and Nala Se, the two Kaminoans.
Yes.
Having a conversation where he's like, we need to step this up. Like we need to get this fucking program off the ground, and we need to find her.
Right, but he says something to the effect that if the clones can't bring her back, then we will have someone do it for us, which then he alludes to what we find out at the end. But like, I thought he wasn't aware.
No, he said other bounty hunters, right?
I thought
he said bounty hunters. Nala Se says something about like we have someone on it, and he mentions it as plural, like there's multiple bounty hunters, which is something we speculated about earlier in the season. If Fennec Shan's after Omega, there's others,
right?
And that means we might see other bounty hunters, and we kind of threw out a bunch of different bounty hunters we might see.
Okay, I guess I read that scene wrong because we know that she purposely sent her Omega off with them, right? Why? And why is she in on like, well, I still don't get her game plan. What's her game plan? Right, yeah. Like other than like maybe she did it just to make sure when the Empire showed up, like they wouldn't offer or know about her or something like that. And they keep her alive long enough where then the bounty hunters could retrieve her. That might just be the plan.
I think she let her get away so that they didn't find her right away.
Okay.
And now they're trying to figure out a way to bring her back. That's my guess.
The simplest is probably
is the Empire still on Kamania?
Yeah, because they show one shot of that he was upgraded to general or whatever.
Admiral
yeah.
Rampart,
yeah. And they show one scene. He says, I don't care about old clones.
Yeah. They're like, no, they could be useful. We should bring them back. And he's like, fuck that. Kill them.
Right. Which is like he's talking to one of them.
Yeah. Right.
Crosshair.
Yeah. And so Crosshair shows up and they have this kind of they're going, searching for him and find him and have this standoff on the artillery deck where it's the first time we've really seen them kind of face off since they left Camino.
Yeah.
I'm infecting you. You can't say it. That's funny. They're like, okay, here comes a squad of stormtroopers, and like they just hide around the corner. And how bad are the peripherals on these stormtroopers that like the mask must really be terrible because they just walk past them. Oh, they all turn left in coordination. And like we're right here on your right. Like it's kind of funny.
It's just a reminder of how inept the stormtroopers can be.
Can't see with this thing on.
They're barely an upgrade over those droid.
Yeah, I agree.
Battle droids. Then they manage to hack into the cannons and fire those, so the whole place starts fucking falling apart.
I love how for a ship that's in a junkyard and is going to be scrapped and wrecked and probably broken, everything seems to be able to come online and work when they need it to.
The Wi-Fi's still up.
Yep, sure is.
It's all working.
We got a good signal.
But then they get away. But then they're like, okay, we got to find another way to get out of here. And so they're like, well, then let's just go down the. What is it called? The ion engine chamber, which the whole time you're thinking, well, that's a bad idea. Because if they turn that bitch on, then they're all cooked.
Sounds very nefarious.
I like hindsight now because I was just mocking the fact that everything seems to work. But like when they were going through there, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Good way out. Of course, homeboy already knows that's the way they're coming out. And he's got the engines being revved up. And I'm like, wait. Like, is this thing going to lift off and fly? I mean, at this point, they just need to take it back up to space and use the damn thing.
Yeah, it seems like you could get it working. It's
not
still...
anymore. They kind of they blow the shaft.
Yeah. They fucked that thing up. But yeah, Crosshair cuts them off, so they're in a pinch because the engines are firing up and they can't just walk out because they're gonna get picked off. So they decide to put these explosives around and basically have the part of the cylinder drop.
Yep.
So you see that happen, and when that thing explodes, Crosshair gets torched, and he gets fucked up.
Yeah.
Do you think that he is like a Vader-esque thing? Like they got the oxygen machine on him, all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if like this is how they're gonna give him like that Star Wars villain look,
It could be. There's a couple things going on there. One is that I saw somebody speculate. They're like, did he kind of look like Dengar when they had wrapped him all up at the end there? Like, are they going to try to? I don't think that's going to be a connection. But the other thing is he going to like? What is his standing going to be now, leading that force? If he's kind of fucked up, like, is he still? Are they going to enhance him and allow him to still continue to lead the Death Troopers, or is he going to be kind of left by the wayside?
Oh, I think that probably the first one. They'll do what they can to get him back on there. I think we're still
I was just thinking about his redemption story. Does he have a redemption
exactly.
story? And so is it him getting all fucked up somehow brings him around eventually to getting back to his crew somehow? I don't know.
There'll be another meeting for sure. Yeah. I'm guessing they're going to have to like hold his ass down to get the inhibitor chip out of him.
Yeah, that'll be what has to happen. It doesn't seem like he's going to give it up willingly. He's still wanting to kill them. But the fun thing is, as they get away and they're split up, and Omega and Hunter are making their way back to the Marauder, to the ship, they pull up and they go, and that's where Crosshair's like, make sure you've got their ship. And they're like, hey, whatever the guy's name is, CT, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And when they show them lying on the ground, I was like, oh, fuck, who is it? Who is it? And I was like typing out my little notes. And I put, as I'm watching, I pause it and I said, the troopers have been wiped out by ... And then I watched him come on screen, and I literally put my arms up at like 1 a.m. and was like, fucking yes. I was so excited. Cad motherfucking Bane.
He back. Bad Kane.
It started at his feet, didn't they?
Yeah, they did like a full
you
up
knew who
shot.
it was like right away, yeah. And they just get up to him, I'm like, oh, and there he is. And I was like, oh, Matt's going to be excited. But I was like, because I think we talked about, they got to show this guy, right? We've all like, this is Filoni's favorite. He's going to put him in somewhere. And he's just fucking Joel Cool, man.
He's got that.
My favorite shot in the whole series, though, was when they threw the helmet and you're seeing.
That was amazing.
Yeah,
that's like that reminded me of a Halo HUD heads up display type scene.
Yep.
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, very video game-esque.
I guess there was an episode in the Clone Wars that was shot through the. I don't remember there was being one through the helmet.
Was there?
That's what it said. The only thing I could think of was the one episode with Echo when he's whooping ass and then he disappears, blowing everything up, and then we see him three seasons later when he's in the machine. But I don't know if that was it. But I was like, I don't recall through the helmet shot. But I'm like, you know what? I want more of that. That was kind of badass.
Will you legit get a high noon like two gunslingers face off type of a thing? They go and man, like Hunter went down like a bitch, man. Like he took it right on the chest. His shot wasn't even close. Like he didn't even get like he winged the droid in the foot, right? Like he fucking. I was like,
he's too slow.
Man.
I mean, I think he was trying to draw, and he just fucking.
I get it, but I like, man, Hunter's the leader of the Bad Batch. He should be like it should have been like just a Han versus Greedo thing, right? Where Hunter pulled and shot, and he was really close, but Cad like reflexed
missed it, and he still got hit. But
missed for a reason.
Yeah, right.
But like, I feel like Hunter should at least been on the same. But Cad's too quick, man. He's a survivor.
I think that's the point. Like,
or like I was
so good.
I was expecting him to be his little feet blasters kick on like, and that's why he missed the shot, and then he shoots him from above or something, like using trickery.
Right.
But no, he went down like
I think like
battle of skills.
Exactly, and I think the point is like he's up against like the best of these guys, and he's just like he is so. Not even worried. Doesn't break a sweat. Just like walks. They do the draw.
He's a cool cat, man.
And then he does like the 80s slasher film slow killer walk to the girl. Just like moseys on over to her, and she's like, and just fucking blasts her.
sorry, sweetheart.
I like when Hunter said something about like she's coming with us or whatever, and he goes, "That's unfortunate for you."
Yeah.
Total confidence, big dick energy coming out of Cad Bane.
Yep.
I loved it.
Big blue dick energy.
But and did you think for a second, did they really kill Hunter? Did you think like just for a split second, is he really? Yeah, I there was a split second where I was like, would they do that to up the stakes of this show that much? And I thought, no, they can't kill him. He's the main dude.
I have thought as the series progresses, are we going to see one of them die? But I didn't think it would be now. But the reason I didn't think that he was dead was because we saw Wrecker get shot in the first episode, right? When Crosshairs, and he just goes down and uses him as bait. So I was like, he's not dead, but he was definitely not getting back up on his own.
That gray armor that they wear must be upgraded because every other stormtrooper gets hit in the chest.
They're not wearing PVC.
Yeah.
Right. They've got the good stuff.
Yep.
By the way, when I heard his voice, I was listening really carefully because I was like, is that the same exact voice? And I looked it up. It is the same guy.
Okay.
It's Corey Burton, who also is the guy who did Dooku in the Clone Wars, as well as, come on, I thought for sure Cole would get this.
Oh, Zero?
Zero.
He's Zero.
That's right.
His voice sounded slightly different though, but it's still for the most part the same old Cad, and I'm just excited to have him back. It makes me think too, like, are they going to try to bring him to live action at some point? It would be very difficult to pull off, but I think we talked about that before, how great that would be to see him show up in Book of Boba or something else.
I would.
Kenobi maybe.
I mean, it's almost. I would be more surprised if we don't see him show up in live action in the next year or so. Yeah. With all of these shows coming out, Filoni, being the head with Favreau, like this character is
Who's the skinny guy from Scream? You fucking stabbed me deep,
Matthew
man.
Lillard?
Matthew Lillard. I think he could pull this off, right? Like color him blue, throw him out there.
Yeah, but he doesn't have that voice.
Oh, he could figure something out, right?
Well, I mean, Ray Park played Darth Maul, and they had someone else do the voice, so yeah.
That's my pull. Who do you guys want for Cad Bane in live action?
Oh man, that's a good call. I don't know.
Fat Amy.
Fat Amy?
Yeah, from Pitch Perfect.
Never seen that.
She'd really have to go method acting. like Kristen Bale, just eat cigarettes and an apple a day, lose all her weight.
Eat cigarettes and smoke an apple?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I just hope we see it. He's such a fucking awesome character. I mean, wow, you got to use him.
You know what? Scott Eastwood.
Scott Eastwood?
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Because he's basically, he'll just play his father.
I see what you're saying.
But he's too built.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I don't know. Listeners, what do you think? Tell us.
Yeah, listeners.
Tell us
who could play the live action Cad Bane? Did you mean to? Is his name spelled Chad Bane? Because when in the chat room, when you said something about it, and I said yeah, Chad Bane, and I was laughing, and then I was like, I've never seen the spelling of it, but I guess that would be. Is it?
It's Cad.
But it's spelled CAD. Chad. Okay.
It's CAD. No, I just put it as Chad as a joke.
Okay, good. Okay. I was laughing at that. Chad Bane.
Ashoka and Chad are going to get married.
Yeah.
It's part of the fun of our show is the name mix-ups.
Yes, of course.
Chad and Ashoka and then Munchie are going to have a whole little family.
Munchie, crosshairs.
That's a fucking 8-episode series right there.
They're going to get together, and that's going to be their little
It's gonna be
pet.
a road trip.
The underworld of Corsicant, as you guys like to say.
Corellia.
Anyway, well, I as far as what's next, I kind of figured at some point Omega was going to get captured, and this would turn from a survival
It's the
mode
Baby Yoda
to
thing.
a rescue mode.
Mm-hmm.
I just figured that was kind of inevitable. So now you've got this series of episodes set up that now they've got to go back after her and find her and get her back, which I think we all kind of saw that coming.
Right. Like the back end of the season is going to be like chock full of like action. We're probably going to get a lot more of like, what the hell is she? What's the point? And then it leads, well, I guess we'll discuss that a little bit when we get into the question of the week, because that's a lot of answers are probably going to come from that.
Yep. And we talked about the crosshair thing and kind of where that leaves him. I'm real interested to see what they do with him, given that he's all kind of fucked up now. There's a lot of ways they could go with that.
Like, I know that we've discussed the fact that there's no season 2 of this yet, right? So I don't know if this is a standalone, and then like to me it seems like much like the Book of Boba Fett, the standalone episodes or the stories, maybe they are, whatever. The next animated show will just be a continuation of this, like this is of the Clone Wars, but it'll be its own thing, from like a different point of view, skew,
Could be.
So I don't want to see a redemption for Crosshairs just yet. What?
You did it again. Crosshairs.
I know. I'm waiting for someone to pick up on
Plural.
that. Yep. Thank you.
Hunters and crosshairs
I
and
want it.
wreckers.
I want it in the.
Text.
Damn it.
Oh, my.
Echoes.
What was it? You said Ahsoka earlier. I said, you said it wrong. Like, I'm trying to fucking.
I didn't hear it. Well, let's do question of the week, which
By the way, we're sticking with Chad Bane from now on.
I think Chad Bain's a good one.
Yes.
For the question of the week, I mean, again, this whole show is spoilers, so just to throw it out there again, there were some titles that were sent out in a tweet.
Could you imagine? Hold on. If we got like an email, like, can you guys like calm it down on the spoilers? I haven't watched the episode yet.
Well, it's one of those things where I think the way we handle those things is we take some of the speculative stuff that just allows us to think more and come up with ideas more.
Yeah.
Versus like I talked about a couple episodes ago, like I don't need to see full on leaked scenes being filmed from shows. I don't want that much detail. I want to go into it with not knowing
Right,
what's
yeah.
going to happen, but at the same time having these little nuggets to give us a taste of what might be to come and allows us to kind of guess. I think that's fun.
That's the fun part.
So this tweet from our guy, on
Yeah, our
Twitter,
guy. Yeah, our guy in Lucasfilm.
said that, and we still have episode 9 to come next week, but this was a release of the 5 episodes coming in July, and there were titles. And so we were trying to kind of figure out what all these could possibly mean. So we obviously don't know what's going to happen next week that's going to lead into this, but the episode 10 title, which will be coming out on July 2nd, is called Common Ground, which I would assume, or I'm guessing, some sort of alliance is being formed. Maybe Saw, maybe, I don't know, maybe something with a bounty hunter. I'm not sure. What do you think of that?
Enemy of my enemy is my friend type of a deal is what I get the vibe from that. So
I had a Cole moment. I just lost everything. What are we talking about?
the title episode of thank you for
the
patenting
leaked
that as a-
episode titles of the Bad Batch in July.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling that a Cole
I
moment.
got a text, so I was paying attention to that for a second. Then I'm like, what?
You're really reinforcing Mike Laborn's opinion of me, apparently. So we'll talk about this in a minute.
Just sitting on it all episode.
I know you guys said I'm doing a good job here, but I'm fucking quitting the show.
That's why he's just waiting to get to the end. He's like, I got something to say to you, Mike.
I've been fucking.
You should have covered that up front.
Yeah. He's saving all of his energy.
I'm like Chris Farley on fucking Saber. He's been down in the basement for 8 hours drinking coffee, ready to fucking explode.
So yeah, I just that was my assumption, and it leads into the episode 11, which is Devil's Deal. And then that starts to make you think, okay, well then who the fuck is this alliance with?
Here's where someone dies. I think we were talking
Think
about
so?
one of the. So the Devil's Deal is one of these guys is going to have to be sacrificed in order to. Either at this point it's like free Omega, or maybe one of them gets killed to sacrifice, and then they're able to free Crosshairs for that way. Something that's where I'm thinking that's going.
Okay.
Well, and which one would it be? Do they have a decision? And it's like, Echo, you're like half dead anyway.
Yeah, that's what. If I could see somebody go, it'd be Echo.
I mean, they
like
really
Tech.
haven't done much with his character. There's been no development with him. So, I mean, I guess he is probably the most expendable.
And he seems not to be integral. Every time you need Tech to do something, unless there's a port, but you could get a droid to fucking run the port. Like, he's got the fucking can opener on his arm, right? So, like, he can do the stuff or whatever, the twirly-whirly. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
All right, screwdriver.
Just
The R2D2
need a screwdriver
thing.
set.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just need a nice wrench set. Give me my fucking tools.
But I thought also, like, is it that, or are they making a deal with somebody really evil, and that's why? Like, we're not going to do Maul again, are we? Are we going to do Maul? Are we going to do Asajj? Are we going to do somebody else?
I'm going to go out on. I'm going to change it all up. I think the Devil's Deal has to do with Camino and what they're doing and how they're making the second batch of clones.
Yeah, sacrificing something.
that.
Like who is like is. I see what you're saying with like they're trying to stay relevant, but someone has to be footing the bill for their relevancy, right?
True.
So who's the Devil's Deal through?
Yeah.
We're gonna get a little bit of answers on Homegirl. I think she's not even from New Zealand.
Fucking
Fake accent.
fake Kiwi
Turns out the
accent.
whole time she's not from New Zealand.
You fucking poser.
She's actually from Fiji. Like this whole time we didn't know. The next one is very interesting because episode 12, July 16th, is Rescue on Ryloth, which is Hera's home planet and where her dad Cham, I think is his name.
Solnera, something like that.
Syndulla.
Syndulla.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's what you said.
Solar panel, Chell.
Close.
Chell
Close.
Sonnen. Chell Sonnen.
Just sounds. Our show is just sounds. None of it makes sense. But no, it made me think about rescue. I don't know. Like it seems like it would involve something with. What did I miss?
He's over here doing ASMR.
No, I was gonna say we should all, when we warm up our mics, everyone, what's his name? Ron Burgundy always unique New York. We should do the Rescue on Ryloth. That should be our fucking. Take that, Mike Laybourne. Original content.
Yeah. Or did you ever see? Was it Bugsy? Warren Beatty. 20 dwarves took turns doing handstands on the carpet. He used to say that over and over again.
There's a
so
poll.
creepy.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Some people I've seen speculate like, oh, maybe we're going to see Hera. Hera's like 10 years old. I don't think we're going to see Hera. I mean, unless it's just a passing shot, but she's still young. So I don't think that would be the case there for the Rescue on Ryloth. I'm not sure what it would be.
We thought we saw her in Clone Wars at one point, right? We thought, or we did, but she was really off camera. We thought it was one of the little girls on the.
It wasn't the main one they showed.
Right.
It was the other one. Yeah, exactly.
She didn't even have a
one.
line. Yeah, she didn't have a. She didn't. I'm colorblind, man. Don't do
Okay,
that.
sorry.
I think she just rushed up into his arms or something. Like
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
it. She really didn't have any role.
Well, if Dad's supposed to be so famous and popular, maybe that's what it's about.
Maybe. Yeah. The next one, I mean, not a fucking clue. Episode 13, Infested. That could be anything. I have
This
no
is
clue.
where we find out the diagnosis of Cole's STD.
And yours now.
He's
'cause
infested.
You were sharing the
You
Disney
are
Plus.
infested with chlamydia.
Yep.
Oh, I hope for chlamydia. That's just a shot.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's an easy one to get rid of.
Nice.
You got to get that. You got to get that Q-tip up the D hole though. That's no good.
They don't do that
Of the
anymore.
Disney Plus.
No, they don't do that. Oh, okay.
No.
It's been a while.
I mean, you're probably not out there on the market getting STD tests.
No.
I see how he played that off. He really is, but he can't say it. He
Right,
can't say
yeah,
it on the air. His wife might listen, or his lady friend might be listening. You have no idea what they do.
The last one is called War Mantle, which of course is the name of the Tarkin program to enlist all these stormtroopers. So, I mean, that seems pretty straightforward, but I just don't know what exactly that means.
The clones are dead.
Maybe the weaning out of the clones, like they're finally like trying to really get rid of them.
Why don't they just like, if they have the inhibitor chips, can't they just like update a new program, like version 3.2 and just drop them all dead where they stand?
I would think you could do something like that.
You know?
They're pretty controlled.
Mm-hmm.
Have them all shoot each other.
Oh, wow.
Do we ever
Attack
get
the
Order
clones.
69.
Do we ever get an answer as to whether or not the clones you see, or the stormtroopers that we see in 3 or 4, 5, and 6 are not leftover clones, or are they conscripts? Do we ever get that answer?
I don't think we
never-
know that, but
I think
the
that's what this
assumption
is
is that
leading
they
to.
are. Yeah,
They
I
are
think that's what we're
clones?
gonna. No, my assumption I think is that the clones are kind of died out by then.
And those are just conscripts using the old clone armor? Probably?
I think so.
Because in 7, Finn was a clone was a stormtrooper. So I mean, at that point,
Yes.
Well, yeah, but like Finn, they were taken.
Mm-hmm.
So the stormtrooper
Yeah,
thing is
that's
more
right. Yep.
kind of like you're getting drafted, whereas the Finn era, they're literally like taken as children and raised. It's almost like they're treating them like the clones were, as far as raising them from a young age to become soldiers. But in this case, they're actual humans that they just took from their homes.
Right. My idea is like when they occupy a planet, they take so many.
And what do you got to do to get selected? You know what I mean? You got to be a bad kid in school. Show me your worst 5 bullies, and they pull them out of the schoolyard. These guys are not.
I think it's
us.
just where you give us all your firstborns.
Mm.
The Empire's, they're not. They don't care.
Well, I'm
They're not a great.
It's a
not a great
numbers game.
organization.
Right.
They just need some more. They need some leadership.
It's all.
I think we're the men for the job.
It's all about the bottom dollar, and that's all they care about. It's
Right.
just money.
Yeah.
They're like the Amazon of the universe.
Matt could have the Empire turned around in 2 spreadsheets.
Yep.
That's true.
Yep.
I can get it all organized.
You'd have me on the ground floor. I'll be the enforcer. Jay, you can be.
Whatever Mike Laybourne wants me to be.
I was gonna say, are you gonna be the enforcer, Cole, or are you gonna be something else? Let's get into the mailbag, shall we?
I'm a representative of the United States government, authorized by
Order 66.
and I'm your postman.
All right. Email number 1. Actually, it's the only email from Mike Laybourne. Which Star Wars character could do your job? And then he says, I have a few suggestions. And my favorite part of his suggestions is the fact that he put the pictures.
I know. Yeah.
That was nice. That was a nice touch. You son of a bitch.
So is it Mithral or Mythral? I don't know
Mythral?
how you pronounce that for some reason.
Mythral.
Anyway, he says it's the guy that was played by
Horatio Sands.
Horatio Sands, yes, in The Mandalorian, the blue guy, blue fish looking dude. First episode you saw him. Creative accounting, probably drives a Civic, rude, and does that weird neck fart. What?
I was surprised when I saw that this was you and not Cole, because spending 3 or 4 nights in a Vegas hotel with Cole, I mean, the neck farts are
They're a real thing.
Those weren't neck. You got pretty
from some
lucky.
crates.
None of those were smelly.
Oh, I did. I got very lucky.
He said, I've got him doing Matt's job from the basement. I understand what he's going for there. And the accounting thing, I guess that sort of works. But yeah, I was not thrilled with that pick, but somebody's even less thrilled with their pick. Next is Chopper. Angry, goes into enemy installations to sabotage their communications by using the corporate Wi-Fi to upload his podcasts. This little fella can do Jay's job. How do you feel about Chopper?
I'm not angry, other than the fact that I don't see myself as a droid, but I think his description makes good sense.
It does.
And he's got your colors too.
Yeah, he does.
Orange.
Sure does my colors. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good call. And finally, the look on your face, C-3PO. Not sure what he actually does, but he's useful to the rebellion as they kept him around for a long time, and he can talk, so cool.
Why don't you eat my ass, Mike? That's my response to that. Give me the worst.
Your ass
absolute
or
worst.
C-3PO's ass?
Yeah, I mean he can get on. He can do the rusty trombone.
Okay.
C-3PO. Yeah, it's the worst character in the entire fucking Star Wars universe, and he picks me for that. That's
No,
bullshit.
there's worse
I would have
characters.
taken Jabba the Hutt over C-3PO. C-3PO, everyone hates. No one.
True.
Tell me one person.
I don't think you're the most hated person on this podcast or in any podcast. That's not fair.
Well, apparently I am the Mike Laybourne. I hope you fucking get stabbed by the dark saber.
How is it not exactly?
You know what? I'm gonna hand. If you win the fucking mall, Saber, I'm gonna hand fucking deliver it. I'm gonna shove it in your
to him in
ass.
pieces.
I'm gonna bring a bottle of lube. I'm gonna come to wherever the fuck you are, East Texas, Canada, probably. And I'm gonna
No, he's in England.
Okay, well, you know,
Get yourself a boat.
Cheerio, Mike. I'm coming across the pond.
I'm coming for you, Governor.
You ever seen Green Street Hooligans? It's gonna be fucking in your backyard, my friend.
We do appreciate your emails, Mike.
No, you get a 3-week ban from the show. I'm calling it right now. Don't fucking dare email again.
Oh, God, that's fucking funny. Yeah, I wasn't sure who to pick for that. I don't know who would replace me in my job. I mean, for you guys, I would think those police droids we saw earlier in the Bad Batch season would work out well, since you're monitoring a nuclear power plant.
All right.
Oh yeah, I could. I see
I'm not
myself more as
against
a. I can't even fucking give him.
I feel like I would put smuggler.
For me,
Yeah.
I'm a smuggler.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Why?
can see that. Talk your way through shit.
Yep.
Because I'm smooth like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And you're not, you work best on your own. You're not anyone's bitch. No one's the boss of neighbor Cole.
Well, that's what a smuggler does. He does jobs for people. So you guys are
Right.
basically saying I'm Han Solo. Thanks. Thanks,
You're welcome.
fellas. I appreciate that.
You shoot first.
It works. I'm surprised Mike didn't call me Toro Calican. I would have fucking quit the show.
Well, he didn't pull. He couldn't pull punches on both of us, all three of us. He's coming after just one of us, apparently.
What he's doing is he's trying to break us down slowly, and then when one of us leaves, he's like, "Hey, do you need another host?"
Strangely enough, I just got this brand new microphone and a great computer. Would you guys? I've checked the connection from England.
I happen to have read all the books.
You're gonna start getting like postcards in the mail with C-3PO's picture on it and stuff.
I'd almost be willing to release my address. I'll give them Jay's. Then they can figure out where I'm from there.
Mine's probably out there. Done a lot of Christmas cards, so.
Well, that's it. That's all we have for Mailbag. Thank you for sending that in, Mike. And
If anyone was gonna be 3PO, it'd be fucking Quad because he's got the silver leg. You know what I mean? He's got one fucking leg.
does he have a red arm?
Yeah, and Quad to this show, Quad is very useless, so it would make sense. Nobody knows what he does.
Apparently, that's me. Useless.
I don't believe that at all.
My feelings are hurt. You can't take it back.
All right, everybody except for Mike Laybourne, thanks for listening, and until next time.
R2D2, watch your language. I had to throw that in there. I couldn't use my regular dialogue.
All right.
And in our experience, there's no such thing as luck.
We have spoken.